how you feel about Shido over Baro?
I disagree, but I don't think it's crazy to say I think just Shido has a lack of feats within any while Baro actually has feats. But I ain't gonna lie, to be fair, the only match that we've actually seen from Shido, he was literally guarded by Kunigami and someone who was on bench. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. He thinks Shars thinks that like he thinks Baro's over, but not like by a large margin.
I'm fine with that. I'm just saying, like, we can't really determine who's better. I just put Baro above on my tier list because he has more.
True. We can debate that, but like dead ass, we have to agree to Infinity Judging, bro. That's the only way you're debating that truth.
What the fuck? Bro, this guy's trying to hold me, bro.
So,
Bro, Infinity is not biased, bro. Infinity is not biased, bro.
Bro, towards
said,
you?
Infinity, are you biased?
you do realize me and Ghetto J used to dead ass hate each other, right?
Like that's what I'm saying, bro. We had like fucking 5 debates,
bro. And now you resolve that shit, and that's your bestest friend ever, bro.
Hello.
Fuck, you're just mad that we're just not beefing no more.
All right. We can have Infinity and Arjun.
And me.
And Timmy,
oh my God, bro.
Best in G.
Bro, if we're getting 3 judges, it's gonna be Infinity, Arjun, and Archie.
No, it's gonna be Infinity, Arjun, and Timmy.
Bro, no, Timmy's like he's like a bystander. He's just gonna watch it. He's not gonna judge.
Bro, Infinity, Timmy's competent, bro. Everyone who knows.
I didn't say he wasn't competent. Please track the argument.
Bro, when you say he's a it's gonna be a bystander, bro. I'm telling you, no, he's not because he's competent, bro. Come on, that's a defeater.
You can be competent and only watch the debate and not judge it.
Bro, not if you're assigned the role of judge and you agree to judge.
That's not true. People have been judged and not watched debates in person and even rec.
Can you prove that?
Okay, so there you go, right there, track number 1. You know, like again, we can have Infinity judge by himself, bro. Like that's the only way we're doing the topic, bro. I promise you.
Bro, you said tracking error number 1 because you made a claim and I said to prove it, bro. You're a genius.
Yes, type shit. So yeah, we're only gonna debate Infinity's a judge by himself, bro.
Brother, there's no possible world we're debating like that.
Bro, like we are. There's no issue. Infinity has literally lost debates before. What's the issue?
Bro, there's an issue, bro. I won't get into it, bro.
Bro, like just say like
it stems from the Poochie versus Jen situation.
Bro, I told him to troll you. I told you that.
Hey, bro, and what if you just told him the same thing now?
I can stream DMs.
Oh yeah, bro. Stream the DMs after you delete them, bro. Good job.
Bro, what priors do you have to say that I'm lying to you right now?
Bro, you're a lying.
Wait, Truth. You're basing it off of what?
Oh, high priors from the previous Poochie experience, bro.
Which I told you.
Wait, you think I was biased?
To troll you. Like,
Jin,
so
bro.
again,
yeah,
I've been honest with you,
bro, you're constantly trolling me, bro.
He's not been constantly trolling you. He's only trolled you once.
Jin,
not
bro.
Infinity, bro. You.
Me? When?
Bro,
yo, I ain't gonna lie. You can just get the screenshot. I'm just about to stream, but look, bro. He literally told me, bro, look. You just wanted pure instigation.
I'm still ending that idea. Please track.
Type, Timmy, type. Type, Timmy.
Bet. You said Timmy's better judge?
No, bro. I'm just responding to what Timmy said in chat. Please track.
All right.
What are you guys gonna debate?
Botcher. Who's the better player between Botcher and Asagi?
Who's the better player? That's pretty. That's actually
I had
gonna be that's gonna be metaphysically bloated.
This is crazy, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Wait, Ghetto Jin, don't you debate One Piece?
I do debate One Piece.
Truth, don't you debate One Piece?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
You want to do Shank versus Kaido?
I don't think they have a problem with finding the topic.
Bro,
yeah, that'll be fine. Wait, who do I have? Wait, Timmy, who do I have on that one, bro?
Wait, what? Hold up, I'll send you your tier list real quick. 1 second.
All right, let me see his tier list. Nah, I'm not gonna lie though. Truth, like if we did Asagi versus Bachira, I've only read like the first 50 chapters of Blue Lock.
Asagi by himself is not.
Hey, Jen, this is his tier list.
But let me look at this One Piece shit, bro. All right, let's see. Garp. Where's Shanks? Okay, where's Kaido? Kaido is above Shanks. Okay, so he thinks Kaido above Shanks based off the list. We can do Kaido versus Whitebeard, bro. I'll take Kaido.
Kaido versus. Hey,
But he has a Kaido under Whitebeard.
Yeah, I'm taking Kaido.
Oh.
holy. Okay.
All right. You found the Finny judging, bro?
Brother, that'll be enough out of you.
What's this, bro? Like, come on.
Bro, no. This is rage bait, bro. Like,
I'm
I'm
not
giving you the
rage
top.
bait. I'm being.
Bro, Timmy can judge.
Wait, let me judge. Let me judge.
Who the fuck
no.
said that? Who is that?
Yo, kid, Timmy, hop off, kid.
Oh, that's Kuro. Never mind. My bad. I thought that was Spaz Cogger or some shit.
Kuro, I mean, I'm fine with Kuro judging. You fine with that, Fruit?
Yeah,
I'm
see?
fine with
I'm
Quince.
cool,
I'm fine
man.
with Quince.
You fine with? Okay, yeah, I'll take Quince Soul Judge only.
What's wrong with me?
He doesn't agree with you. Like, you're cool, bro, but it's just truth, you know.
Yeah, bro, for real.
But yeah, Quince Soul Judge, that's fine.
All right,
So
bro.
you wanna give
So,
your
what's your
argument,
argument, bro?
I mean, I want to hear your reasoning for why you place Kaido below, because he's your list, right? So.
Yo, Timmy. Oh, Whitebeard is he's just gonna be the strongest pirate, bro. Stated.
Strongest pirate. You don't think he could have got a weaker and lost title himself?
Could have got weaker and lost the title. Nah, I don't believe that because of the diction of the statement. Let me just send the scans actually.
Mm-hmm.
Truth, do you want me to get you the scans?
Yeah. Go ahead, man.
You. 1 second.
Wait, Tim, just to be clear, like if I ask for you post some scan, you'll post it for me too, or like you only post scan for
Yeah. I got you.
Okay.
I
One
did.
piece scan guru, bro. Let me get it real quick.
Yeah. It's gonna be a good faith linear interaction.
Yeah.
Two genius interlocutors.
Mm-hmm.
Up.
Yo.
1 moment.
So Timmy, where are those scans?
Hold up, I'm getting them,
He's
bro. Chill
bringing
out.
scans for you, bro. Be patient. Be patient. You can't be rushing the goat, Timmy.
Oh, rumor on the street. Or actually, never mind.
Let me see if I can.
Save them all. I'm sending them in chat now.
All right. Wait. You said what chat? Where? Oof.
Well, if it just
What
takes
chat?
them on Mac,
General?
like individually. Oh, there we go.
Bro, Kuro, bro, like you were not going to be Archie, bro. Let's be for real. Archie is too much for you.
Have you ever seen me debate Dick Rider?
Bro, I'm a dick. I'm saying you weren't going to debate him. Like,
Yeah, like if you just look at scans, there's just gonna be a multiplicity of scans.
yeah. I mean, I can still make these skins exist. The way I interpret these scans is simply just saying, like, look, there's a narrative established way earlier in One Piece that later on gets clarified about how it applies in the series, right? So, obviously, Wiper had this title, right? But we do know that he has gotten weaker, and he no longer has the strength to maintain this title. He says himself in Marineford, that he can't remain this monster forever, and characters who directly interact with him like Blackberry and Akano himself directly said he's gotten weak, and he's not the strongest anymore.
Yeah,
So
so that'll
Timmy,
be non-track number 1. So you'll just have to read my scans.
I already read them. I read them. We got the buggy stuff. You got the data book stuff. They just claim he's the strongest.
There's just
I'm
gonna be
saying,
some kind of underlying context in
yeah. I
Marineford
know the
because he got
context.
significantly weaker from the ship to Marineford.
It's not even that the ship is marine for. I'm just saying him just in general as he just fucking grows up.
You wait. Repeat that real quick.
I'm not even claiming just from the ship to marine for. I'm just saying just him existing in general as he ages. Right. That's why
Hey,
I'm
show
saying.
that.
Okay. Timmy, can you just like drop the skin what Blackbeard said to Whitebeard? Like that's literally his sole reason why he left the crew. It's literally because Whitebeard got weaker. He doesn't admire him anymore, and he left way beforehand. Like he
Wait,
literally
I
killed.
thought you said there's a scan of Whitebeard or Blackbeard leaving the crew because he thought Whitebeard was weak.
Yeah, yeah. It's like literally when he interacts with Marine for it.
Oh, at Marineford.
Yeah.
Oh, I could go look for that. I thought Blackbeard left the crew because he just like raped the fuck out of that one dude for the fruit.
It's
Oh,
that same skin. You'll see it. Just post it.
all right, I'll look for it. I don't know if I've never seen it, but let me see.
I was just in Punk Records, bro. Where'd you go?
Okay, 576 in One Piece. It should be there. Let me just look.
Marine for there it is. Okay.
I said the statement. I said it for you.
Oh, you got it
Okay.
already? Wait, is there a recording bot?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So what is this gonna be proven in?
Let me see the scan he sent. Let me make sure it's the same one. Kinda same one. It's like it's near it, but I'll post it. Let me read it down. The yeah.
I can't prove his burden, bro.
oh
No,
dear.
that's not the scan I'm talking about, but it's fine.
Looking for Phantom
I'm
skin.
gonna use it though as a conjunction this
Wait,
scan.
hold up, Jen. I'll get the scan right before then, if you want it, because I'm
I
on the
posted it.
same
I
right now.
posted it. I posted it. I posted it.
You got it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
The scan it. Right, yeah. Let me see this. Hold on.
Thanks.
Okay. So what is this gonna mean?
Yeah, Blackbeard literally just said that the only reason why he was going with Whitebeard that time in his crew is because he respected his strength, right? So I'm saying the only reason why Blackbeard even took those actions of like trying to get a seat of power is literally because the person he admired got so weak that he's like, okay, well, there's a free seat. I have the agenda to do this my plan, so I'm just going to take the opportunity. Um, and I'm saying it's a key established narrative that Whitebeard actually has gotten weaker because other characters also just respond by the same shit, including Whitebeard himself. Whitebeard directly says he can't be a monster for that long anymore, and Akane, who's been fighting him for fucking like 10 minutes straight, literally says you can't outrun old age. Right, so it's like
Yeah.
the
So
implication I'm trying to draw
how
from
is
here
that?
is that
Wait. So I don't understand like how that shows what you're saying because I think it's just gonna be in reference to Whitebeard's judgment, and he's talking about him being old
how's that
in terms
judgment?
of after Ace's death.
No. How's that judgment? Because the whole point is
Wait,
that Blackbeard left way before Marineford, all that stuff.
wait, you said what?
Blackbeard left before Marineford and all that stuff. So how is it just simply Whitebeard's judgment? I'm making a narrative piece that look,
Oh
it's
no,
been
but like judgment
established.
in letting Ace run off and then Ace got captured. Like, yeah,
What does that matter? Like I'm confused on how that addresses the argument.
bro. Basically, that's what the scan is just going to be in reference to. Like, it won't be supporting your interpretation.
But this scan specifically,
Yeah,
where he directly says your powers have no effect on me anymore.
yeah.
Okay, let me get this straight. Blackbeard is saying he used to respect them, but he
That's going
grew.
to be in reference. Also,
Wait,
that's
wait.
going to be
I'm
in
going to
reference.
continue. I'm going to
Wait,
continue the
wait, wait,
dialogue,
wait, wait,
dude. Wait,
wait.
no,
I
no, no,
just
no,
wanted
no,
to
no, 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 no,
drop
no.
some clarity. I
Let's
just
keep
wanted
this
to
linear.
drop some
Let's keep
clarity.
this linear.
It's simply
Let's
going to be the
keep this
case. Wait,
linear.
wait, wait. Just
Let's
chill out,
keep
chill out.
this
It's simply going
linear.
to be the
Truth,
case.
truth, truth, truth,
It's
truth,
simply
truth.
going to be.
Instead of being
It's
a bitch and you
simply going
being
to be the
scared
case.
because I'm out arguing you,
It's
let's
simply going to be
keep
the
this
case.
So
linear. Let's
stop
keep this
hurting.
linear.
Just go
Let's
one
keep
by
this
one.
linear.
Just go one by
Let's
one.
keep it linear. I'm
Yeah.
going to talk.
It's
We're
simply going to be the
being
case. The
cordial.
powers no effect on me
I'm
is just
going
going to be
to
in reference
clarify
to
this
the
game
dark
for you because
fruit.
maybe you're having a cold, maybe you're having a hard time reading it. You read manga from left to right, top to bottom.
What?
Blackbeard,
You
no,
read
right to
manga
left.
from left to right?
Yeah, I meant right to left, top to
Dumbass
bottom.
nigga.
Anyway, Blackbeard's directly saying, "You got old. I used to respect your strength." And then he goes on to say, "Your powers no longer have an effect on me."
So that
Yes,
is directly Blackbeard saying, "Look, you used to be above me, now you're not, and I'm using this idea to say it's an established piece of narrative, even outside these arguments and scans, directly other characters saying he has gotten weaker." So
bro.
those
That's
fears from
just gonna
earlier in the
be in reference
series
to the
is
wait,
just
wait,
going to be a
wait. That's just gonna be in
pre-established notion
reference,
that's no longer true.
bro. That's just gonna be in reference to the dark fruit and its nullifying powers. That's not gonna have any correlation to what you're saying. You or him saying that you're powerless against me is just gonna be in reference to the dark fruit. I don't get your interpretation.
I can still mend that. That's fine. I can say it's reference to Darkfruit. The whole point that I'm making is that Blackbeard wouldn't have done this if Whitebeard still maintained his strength from earlier.
Bro, your point is just going to be contingent upon that statement and also prove that.
Bro, I respect it and looked up to you, but you got old. You couldn't even save one of your own men. That's directly in context of strength. Exactly why he's telling him the next line that his strength is no longer good enough to stand upon him no more. He would not have done this shit
Bro,
if
I already
Whitebeard was still
responded to
strong
that,
enough
bro.
to be. You didn't respond. You didn't respond. You're literally just
Bro,
saying,
that's
look,
going to be in reference to the dude's judgment, bro.
the judgment is irrelevant. I'm saying that my interpretation accounts for that. What's wrong with you?
Bro, your interpretation does not account for that, bro, because you're saying
I
that's
just
going to be
explained
in
how.
that's
Look,
going to
look.
wait. I'm saying wait. You're saying that's going to be in reference to something having to do with power. I'm saying this is going to have be in reference to something to do with his judgment and letting Ace run off.
Yes, and I'm saying if he was stronger, like the series is portraying, not only would Ace would not have done that, the half this shit wouldn't have happened because he could have stopped
Bro,
it
you
single
can't
handedly.
prove that.
What? You think I can't prove that Whitebeard single handedly couldn't have stopped it if he was? No, I'll still mean that. Yes, Prime
Bro,
Whitebeard
no. What you
cannot.
said is
Yes,
that
I'll use that against
Ace
you.
wouldn't
Yes,
have.
yes.
Wait, you said
Prime Whitebeard cannot single handedly
You
stop
just
Ace
made a
from getting
claim,
captured
bro. Quit all
by
that
Blackbeard.
yapping,
Okay,
bro.
so yes,
Your claim,
Blackbeard
so
can
your
scale
claim,
to
so
Prime
stop,
Whitebeard.
bro.
Yes,
So stop,
Blackbeard scales to
stop,
Prime
stop.
Whitebeard.
You
I
just
agree.
made a
I'm going to
claim.
use
You
that point
just made
against
a
you.
claim. I'm not like okay. I'm
No,
dismissing everything you
no,
just
you
said. You
made a
just made a
claim which
claim.
I used against you.
You
You made a
just
claim
made a
which I used
claim.
against you.
I'm dismissing everything. All right. So the claim you made is that Ace wouldn't have left if Whitebeard was stronger, bro. Just go ahead and prove that, bro.
No. The claim I made is that Whitebeard could have single-handedly stopped everything if he was strong enough. And then you said I can't prove that. Look, if that's going to be your contention, I'm just going to say sure. That directly means that the characters that's opposing Whitebeard right now directly scales to Prime by your logic. Okay, that means this Blackbeard scales to Prime Whitebeard. So we're going to continue, right?
No, that wow. All right. So for one, that's just not what that's going to mean at all. For two, I said he's getting significantly weaker throughout Marineford. You're just not tracking, right?
Yes, because
Or
of old age.
wait,
I
just be
know.
quiet. Just be quiet. Just be quiet. Then, bro, for three, you said like there's gonna be some kind of narrative implications here that's just gonna imply this idea that the dude's been or that Ace would have stayed if he was stronger or if he was strong enough to actually save Ace. But I'm just gonna be saying, here he wouldn't be strong enough to save it in terms of like his judgment. Like, so I guess his mental fortitude, bro.
You understand that that's not helpful. Rayleigh directly says earlier that to have no doubt is power in One Piece. We know mental fortitude is actually strength in One Piece. So I am going to use that as an established piece to scale characters and how strong they are. I'm going to use that point against you, right? So look, mind you, if the whole point is that look, there's stuff confirming that he's getting weaker, and you're directly agreeing, look, some mental fortitude is nerfing him. That is going to just strengthen the narrative that Whitebeard has gotten weaker. Like I don't see the
Bro,
argument.
do you realize that? Do you realize that the white beard is on my tier list isn't the one from the Inner Marine Ford,
Bro, that's old Whitebeard. I'm saying this argument still applies to old Whitebeard regardless.
bro? No, it's
Bro,
not because the first thing you tried or the first thing you tried to use was gonna be the idea that him not being able to save one of his men from execution is gonna add up. I'm saying that Whitebeard got weaker, so even if I were to grant this interpretation, it would simply just be the case that this wouldn't be like a defeater to the idea that Whitebeard's just gonna be some kind of like bum at Marine Ford because he's been getting weaker, and then for this thing, you're saying his powers no longer have an effect on me or whatever. I already said that's gonna be indexed to the devil fruit for one. So like neither of these things point to the idea that Whitebeard before Marineford is going to be some kind of bum, or the statement will be inconsistent.
bum. First of all, like maybe you're using the word bum too harshly. Obviously he's not a bum. I'm not arguing that he's like fucking pre-time skip Luffy level, like literally start the series. I'm not arguing that. I'm simply arguing is that this Whitebeard, who is considered old, gray hair, the whole point of argument is that look, there's a narrative suggesting that he does not have the same strength as he had in his prime, where he first got this title back in his heyday with Roger. Okay, I am gonna post the scans where he fights Akainu, and they directly says, look, you cannot outrun old age. Obviously, he was old when Blackbeard left way beforehand, right? So all I'm saying is, look, if the argument is that we have clear indications in Marineford, even before Marineford, suggesting that he has lost his strength, therefore losing his title, I'm just going to say it's a narrative consistency that is keep being established and pushed on until this point to where they explicitly stated.
Bro, so all the statements you're referencing, right? I like I don't this is my third time saying this. I don't know if you're not tracking, I don't know if you're an idiot, I don't know what. But I've asked you to prove this consistency, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna post it
For
for you. It's
old
fine.
white wait, listen. So I asked you to prove the consistency, right? For old Whitebeard being in reference to before Marineford or Shitbeard, whatever you want to call him, right? Now, all the things that you've sent me narratively to prove that he's gotten weaker from old age, he's declined a bunch, is just going to be in reference to the Marineford,
We
whatever the
disagree,
fuck.
bro. He's been old before Marineford. Like he's but he was on, like Shanks pulled up to his ship. He was on medicine. Like what are we talking about?
Bro, wait. So when you say when he pulled up and he was on medicine, you think that's going to be some kind of indication that he's gotten
Yes, that is
significantly
going to be
weaker?
some indication that he is
Okay,
not
so what's
physically
going to be the
healthy.
argument?
Yes.
What's going to be the argument that that's not a massage chair?
Oh what? He has fucking IVs and like blood bags on him. Like just like like yeah, massage chair, bro. Like come on, like yeah, that makes total sense, bro. Like look, truth. Understand like Timmy's like you don't read One Piece and Timmy's giving you arguments, but like that doesn't mean like you can just like try to rap your out of it and just say oh shit that looks like medicine and clearly stating medicine is going to be a massage chair.
Nigga,
Like
I'm
it's not gonna
troll.
work.
No. That was troll. But on a real note, it's simply going to be the case that I don't think him being on these IVs or whatever the fuck is just going to be indexed or proof of him being significantly weaker. I think that's just going to be yeah, he has a disease. Yeah, he needs to keep it handled. But that isn't going to be any indication, right, for the disease actually making him significantly weaker. That's just going to be completely non sequitur.
Uh, wait. So let me get this straight. If the argument just simply saying that look, there's a narrative being established that he doesn't no longer maintain this title consistency because he has gotten weaker, and I do have scans checking people saying, "Oh, you're ash, you're ash." He's been had these things to where he's so fucking weak compared to his prime. He needs medicine. I would just argue that look, I already think it's a preconceived notion in the series, suggesting that there's a massive gap, and that's pretty much it. Like
Well,
we can
all
leave it
right.
to the
So
judge.
yeah, we can conclude after this if you want. I'll just say it again because it just seems you have a innate inability to track anything I'm telling you.
Uh-huh.
But basically, right, what I've already told you is that the narrative consistency that you've sent me isn't going to be anything that's going to be sequitur to the idea, right, that he was weaker as an adult, or at his very old age or whatever the fuck, right? Then the narrative can or it's going to be in reference to Marineford Whitebeard, not the one I have ranked on my tier list. I already said or introduced the narrative implications or the idea, right? I won't let you go back now, that he's gotten significantly weaker throughout Marineford, right? Now, when we talk about Shitbeard, I already said these things, right, that you're talking about, he has these IVs on him, he's going to be sick. I already said this is just going to be completely not also some of the scans I sent you are just going to be in reference to old Whitebeard as well, right? So this is just support my interpretation further. But the scans you've sent me with these IVs and shit, it's going to be completely irrelevant unless you can correlate the IVs to strength or anything like that. Like, for example, if there's a dude with cancer, let's say Mike Tyson gets cancer, whatever the fuck, right? I mean, hope it doesn't happen, but it's for the analogy. He gets cancer, right? They hook him up to like IVs or whatever the fuck. It's not going to mean, he's going to be a bum when he goes out there and fights now. He's not going to be significantly weaker than before. It's just going to be the case he's dealing with a disease. That's no implication that he's getting weaker.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I've already addressed how the skins earlier don't apply to old. I literally said that title that he has is going to be something he already gained from his youth days that he still has on because like people haven't seen him. And when you have been seen, what's going to be the case is that they're establishing that he no longer is strong enough to maximally maintain his title. It's like if you use your analogy, Mike Tyson back in his 20s had the title of being the best boxer. He hasn't boxed for over 50 years, and then next time he comes in the ring, everybody sees shit and like, okay, obviously he stopped being the best when he got fucking old and he started physically declining in his 50s. He's 70 now, right? So like it's just gonna be that. It's gonna be that. Obviously, whatchamacall, like I said, Blackbeard left a long time ago before Marineford, so I think this argument would apply way before Marineford. And I can just go on and discuss my character, bro. We can leave up to the judge.
Bro, all right, hold on. This, as per your analogy, I would just say that it's not going to be analogous, right? Because of the idea that when we talk about someone getting weaker or whatever the fuck, now you're trying to tie in like uh, these implications such as just his age or whatever. And you said like fucking Mike Tyson, he's not going to be fighting whatever the fuck, right? That's just going to be for one, just analogous because I don't think you could prove that old Whitebeard just isn't going around fighting and stuff. I mean, we see him performing at an extremely high level via his clash with Shanks or whatever the fuck in the story. The dude's like a pirate. Like, I don't think like that's just a very strange assumption to make that he's just some inactive dude or whatever. I've already addressed like the IV idea, and then yeah, I guess another reason your old analogy wouldn't correlate is just simply going to be the case. These statements are still going to be in reference to the old age. The statement that I just sent, the two statements are just both gonna, or the one statement I sent is still gonna apply at the old age.
Yeah, I don't think any statements you sent directly proves it still maintains during the old age, and I can just provide things for my character, man.
Well, I'll just read it out for the judge, and then we can let the judge decide who won. But simply going to be the case. Whitebeard has stood at the top of the power world in both name and reality since the death of Roger, right? This is going to be in reference to like whatever current point in time in which the statement's being made since the death of Roger, right? So it'll be at the pinnacle. But yeah, we can let the judge give a judgment.
All right, Quinn. So I want to give it now or after debate, bro?
Mr. Quince.
Wait, nigga, I'm actually judging this shit. What the fuck? I did not know that.
Yes.
When the fuck did y'all put in this judge? What the hell?
Bro, like waiting for
Do you just want to
it's been
conclude
read.
the point?
What the hell?
Look,
Yo,
it's
it's
been
fine.
recorded. It's been
I
recorded.
didn't.
We can
I
see it.
never
Yo,
thought
Jen,
Truth
just
would ever
conclude
agree
the
to me.
point.
I never would thought Truth would agree to me. But
Yeah. So Mark is pretty simple. I'm just basically arguing. Look, there's a narrative that was established for Whitebeard, which is simply saying he got this title, being the world's strongest pirate, back in his prime days with Roger, and he just held that title ever since because like no one like challenged him to take it away from him. And I'm just basically saying when Whitebeard does come back in the series next, we do see him in action. When he is old, it's just confirmed the narrative that look, he has gotten weaker. He no longer does maintain this strongest title. He's no longer the same type of fighter. It's being established with Blackbeard saying that's the reason why he left and done the shit he wanted to do, why he's so confident in fighting them with abilities and getting double fruits in the first place. Akan directly says you cannot outrun old age. He's been old for a long time, even before Marineford, right? So the argument if it only applies to Marineford would be wrong. He was on medicines even before that. Crocodile himself correctly says he's ass. The skin, like I've been saying, all the skins he's sending directly saying that look, he's the strongest here, where he's old or whatever, is not going to go unaddressed or what you call anything. My interpretation, something just says look, those scans are referring to when he's in his prime, and he's really just saying look, he still had the title because no one tried to take it away from him.
All right. So yeah. As for the stuff about no one trying to take it away from him, well, for one, just listening to that, you would just deem it to be completely non sequitur. It's just going to be some narrative statements, but I won't get into all that. Basically, it's just going to be the case. I sent a multiplicity of statements. His denial of statements was going to be predicated upon things that happened after Marineford, right? Or during Marineford, after Marineford. I already have said, I think that, or for one, the Whitebeard I'm using on my tier list is going to be Shitbeard, right? Not the one that fought at Marineford. Not the one like whatever the fuck with just within the arc, right? So I'm just like, yeah, these statements won't apply. I established the idea. He didn't contest the idea that the dude has gotten significantly weaker. He tried to attack it with like some idea that like Ace wouldn't have left if the dude is bro Sky Argent. If the dude is gonna oh yeah, if the dude is like not gonna be someone who's strong now, I asked him to prove that he didn't. Then he tied in like some sort of IV idea or whatever He was like, "Yeah, we're gonna see the dude. He's gonna be hooked up to these IVs, and the evidence from him being hooked up to the IVs is gonna be he got weaker." I just give him an interpretation where disease doesn't make you any weaker, like I did with the Mike Tyson and the whatever analogy, and then he gives me some sort of analogy that I debunked like it being analogous. And then I send my scan again, and I say it's still gonna be in reference to old Whitebeard because it says. Since the death of Roger, he never debunks that scan. So yeah, I don't know how he won. He just never addresses it at all. I said it multiple times. I also proved Whitebeard entering Marineford was the strongest pirate. So
Look, Quincy, we can't give it on spot. Look, the Rec has been playing. We can save Rec, bro. Like, yeah, we go. Okay, he said we can save Rec, so we can go on to like my scale.
Well.
All right, true.
Just restate what you're saying. So basically, Jin is trying to argue for World's Strongest Creature and some other scans, and
Yeah. I'm basically just saying, look, there seems to be look, based on the prior part of the record, I'm establishing, look, there's this like narrative suggesting that old Whitebeard isn't the strongest anymore. Kaido actually is the one who has the strongest Emperor title. And it's also further reinforced from the fact that he's stated by Oda in the Skybooks to being the world's
all right,
strongest
bro.
creature, and creature
Wait.
includes
I'll be
humans.
attacking the strongest creature scans first.
Okay.
All right, bro. So 1 second. Let me see what scans you used. All right, I'm about to send some scans. Do you have the name scan to me? And the wolf scan, and the Nami one, or like the wolf scan Nami one.
yeah. Are you talking about the Punk Hazard one?
Oh my God, that's a
Yeah.
bad scan. Not for me, but for you. Let me just get the. Where is the R1? Oh, okay. Let me see if I can find what Sanji fought the guy. Nope, nobody's in the Sanji section. Okay, I'm going my One Piece scan server then.
All right, hold up. I found the Nami scan. I'm looking for the other one.
So don't blame it on the sunshine.
All right, there's the
Blame
Nami
it on
scan,
the
and
moonlight.
one from San Juan Wolf's Beaver card. I have the kanji or whatever. I just need to get the thingamajig. Okay, here you go. And that's the San Juan Wolf one.
All right, bro. Yeah. So if you look at the first scan, when it's used, when the idea of him being the most powerful or strongest creature is used, it's just going to be the case. Even the character in verse is going to index it to some sort of implication in which he's just not going to be human. All right.
I disagree.
What?
Yeah, I think when they say something like creature, it's going to be in reference to just being a higher scale of somebody who's considered like a human or something, or being of mankind. Like for example, you're a human, but if you were to get amped, by like say a Jason match, you're still technically human biologically. You're just considered a monster when it comes to like actual like comparisons.
Now, maybe I'll restate my point again. I don't think you tracked. All right, so I said my interpretation of it not being like some sort of power related thing is
I know
going to
your
be
interpretation. I know. I'm saying that I don't grant it. I actually
no.
do think it
I'm
is in
saying
reference.
no, but you
Raise
saying
on
you
Java
don't grant
VC.
it isn't going to be any indication
It
of
is. Okay,
a
yo,
cheater.
Arjun, and fucking Timmy, can y'all post the Arlong Park scan where Sanji fights that one guy underwater, and he just directly says that humans are creatures, like humans are distinctly a part of the category of creatures.
Yeah,
If
and
not,
then
I'll just go to the chapter
also
myself.
in the largest creature one, once again they're separated to be distinct.
Yes, I know. I'm saying creatures are just going to be considered a higher level of mankind. Like that's the whole point.
No, but he says, let alone mankind, showing that he doesn't.
Yeah, I know. I know. I'm
When you
saying they're
say a high,
distinct in the
wait,
sense that they're more powerful, right? So somebody who's considered to be a mankind is going to be weaker, smaller than somebody who's going to be a monster or a creature.
Yo. Hold on, wait, is my shit working?
But yeah, I'm just gonna go to chapter myself. Hello.
Yeah, I can hear
Let me
you.
see what chapter. Chapter 86. Okay, I'm gonna go to chapter 85. Then let me see.
Oh, and then actually, so for one, the dude makes a distinction, and then for two, if we just look at the actual definition of the word creature, it's just going to be implied from that definition. But yeah, you can get the art long scans because right now you're floating on thin ice.
Hello.
Yo.
I can hear now. Maybe it was me or you. I don't know. But
Yeah, I was saying, just get the R-long scans because right now I have 3 pieces of evidence supporting what I'm saying, and you have none.
I don't think you have 3 pieces of evidence. You can. I saw you posted one other scan from messages I saw. So I'll when I get back on Discord, I'll see what you posted. But I think the other two doesn't support your point. But yeah, let me just get the online scan part.
Well, yeah, the reason you don't think it supports my scan or my point is because you haven't sent your scan. I mean, because of the scan in which you haven't sent.
Okay, here it is. All right, so this is in chapter 86. You want to look at it yourself. Directly says humans are weaker creatures. So look, the argument, mind you. All right, yeah, you said definition. There's a definition of creatures directly that do use humans as being a part of the category of creatures. If I want to send the full screenshot. So look, if it is the case that look, there's other definitions that also just directly use humans as being a part of the category of creatures, and you can see right here is being used. Humans are being directly referred to as creatures, and in this scan here, which I'm going to just reply to, it directly says that which we'll call it. All monster is just somebody just being further above the competition of quote unquote human. I'm just going to interpret it as if you're a monster or a creature, in the sense that you're being referred to as like the world's strongest creature. It's just going to be the case that you're just a further higher class of strength and scale, like of size.
All right, hold
Of
on.
humans.
I'll address we can hold on. Dismiss this second thing. I'll address
Okay.
only the first, right? So, uh, who do you think will have better linguistics between the Nami, the narrator, or an illiterate fishman?
I don't think Nami actually directly contradicts anything.
Wait, so you don't think or actually nah, I'm not gonna. That shit is so BS. All right, so I'll use this one. Yeah, so you don't think that it's just gonna be narrowly implied that the fishmen or whatever the fuck just view humans to be like, I guess, the creatures, like in a backwards way. They view themselves to be superior to the humans. We get like the expansion and explanation of all this from all the Horty Jones shit and the racism shit, et cetera, right? It's just going to be the case. Arlong and all of his crew are going to be calling humans these creatures via the fact that, they just look down upon them.
No, I don't think so. No.
You wait, so you don't which part which part
I can agree. I can grant they're racist, right? I think if we're going to use racism, like that directly does. I can use real life as an example. Um, like you understand, even though like we were racist in real life, like we still has to, like we still like know that like they're a part of our like biology type of thing. Like so, I don't think that linguistics is going to help you. I think that we when applied to linguistic term of races towards these fishmen, they're just directly understanding that look, these people are considered the category of creatures just like us. We just think they're inferior to them based on their species.
We just think they're inferior. Yeah, so like when they say creature, it's gonna be in reference to like, or when I said racism, I don't think it's, or when you try to tie it back to real life, the disconnect I'm gonna just create or make, just gonna be this idea that via this inferiority complex or the superiority complex, given by whatever the fuck these fishermen, right? That's the reason in which they specifically make this separation, and I guess I think my interpretation, right, is just going to be most likely given the previous separations and which I've established, and then you can try to tie in your next scan, and we can get into that. But right now, it just doesn't look good for your interpretation at all.
Yeah, I don't think so. Do you think Jinbei's racist?
That Jinbei is
Yeah,
racist.
Jinbei, like he's a fishman. Do you
No,
think he's racist?
nope.
Okay, well, Jinbei directly, like, he's a fishman. He acknowledges humans are creatures.
Let me see.
Even though he understood there's a oppression of fishmen, like even though
That
he understood there's oppression of fishmen, he doesn't try to say like, oh, somebody's superior, but like he does know people are creatures.
those are quotes. He's quoting someone.
Yes, read the scan fully. Every time the fishmen have opened their hearts to humans, it led to tragedy time and time again. Humans are brutal creatures, right? So this is under a time period where not the fishmen have superior complex. They were slaves technically, right? So they are the black people as opposed to being the white people later on in the series, right? We agree. We're tracking so far.
Just one.
Okay, so if they have the inferiority complex earlier on in the series, and then they're still saying and acknowledge them as creatures, what it sounds like, what it sounds like is that in all time periods, regardless of who is in power, humans are going to be a part of the categories of creatures.
Yeah. So
There is no racism happening. There is no racism happening.
wait. So when you try to tie this in, I think there's going to be a distinction here, right? Because even if I grant there's going to be some inferiority, some superiority, or whatever, I don't really think it would matter here in specific. Because I think that the fishmen in and of themselves don't view themselves to be below humans. So when they categorize themselves as creatures, they're going to do it to humans as well, because they don't want to feel below the humans, right?
Right. They don't feel below
Okay.
humans. Yeah, I mean, I just don't think that really follows here. I don't think like, look, there's not all evil fishmen. We know there's good fishmen. If there's just a fact that look, these fishmen were being oppressed, they didn't have this mindset earlier, and even when they did, you know, have a mindset to where they could consider themselves as racist and being further above. When they got into power, they didn't just outright say, "You guys aren't even creatures. You guys just like specting. You guys are insects." Like shit like that. Try to like really diss them. I just don't think there's going to be a distinction there. I just think that they will just hold themselves to be of a higher standard because they're born with the same traits and then more. Like they can breathe in the water now. They on
All right, bro.
average a
Let
fishman
me
is 10
explain
times
this.
stronger than a human, et cetera, et cetera. Like I don't think they're trying to demean them or anything like that. I really just think they're speaking purely about the biology. They're creatures biologically.
Yeah. So the reason I don't is just going to be the case. Like how do I put this? They could use it. Like for example, the reason in which they're going to be using it in the first scan is because now they're going to be seeing humans below them, right? As they were previously known as creatures, and they're trying to call the humans creatures now to discredit said creatures, right? Now, on the previous scan, it's going to be they're under the interpretation that they're creatures, but they're also trying to be under the interpretation that the humans are going to be creatures as well, so they don't feel inferior. I'm saying in neither one of these scans is going to be the case they have some kind of inferiority complex. Rather, it's going to be the case that they're just going to value themselves, and they're going to be trying to value themselves, and as in the human or as in the top scan, they're just going to have some kind of superiority complex there.
I mean, look, I'm not gonna lie. This just sounds like I don't even think it's equal interpretation. Look, this just sounds like look, you have an interpretation, mind you, you're an affirmative, um, and like you just can't prove your point here, bro.
Well, for one, you saying you don't think it's an equal interpretation isn't gonna dismiss my interpretation anymore. When you say that I'm on the affirmative, actually you're on the affirmative. just trying to prove that your scans is really saying what it is. So if it is an equal interpretation, it's simply going to be the case. You're going to lose the point. You're affirming this idea that these scans are going to be index or correlative to all humans. These are going to encompass strength, things of that nature, right? All I'm
No, I
telling
don't
you
think
is
you
that
understand
given the
how
scans, given
affirmative
narrative
works.
implications. Wait, just be quiet. So now I'm just saying, given the scans, given narrative implications, this could mean this or this could mean your interpretation, right? Now you have to tell me why your
No,
interpretation
no,
is
I
going
don't
to be
think you know
more
how the
likely than
affirmative
mine.
works. Do you know what a higher assertion is?
Higher insertion here. I don't see how you've gotten one, but you
No,
can tell me.
it's okay. Look. A higher assertion is just based off like contextually speaking of like how the words are used or how it can be described, or simply like because of scaling, something like that, right? So for example, if we're talking about scaling, this character did an X feat that's considered light speed. This character, did X feat that's considered like speed of sound. Like obviously, the character did something at light speed has the higher assertion when it comes to scaling, right? We agree.
Yeah.
Okay. Now here we're probably talking about like statements, definitions, all that stuff. Mind you, the way how definitions work is simply how they apply. It's simply how they apply, right? So as long as they do apply, definition would fit and it would follow. Okay. Now it's going to map on very very easily. It's going to be like this, right? The reason I have the higher assertion is simply okay. Look, there is no contradiction for how my definition does apply. Okay. In cases to where my definition does apply, what you call it? The first definition of humans being distinct from other animals like fucking wolves can apply as well. It's simply just going to be the case that there are just different categories. I'm going to say one more time, categories of what creatures is described as, right? So if it's the case, my definition follows under at least interpretations, whereas yours only follow under one, where you have to deny more stuff, therefore make more assumptions, parsimony, all that stuff, yada yada yada. It's just going to be the case that I do have the higher assertion here, and I just don't think you have an argument, and you would be in the affirmative here because listen, you do have to prove that when they do use the word creatures, are not referring to people who are human. Mind you, Kaido is literally a human. He was born as a human. He just ate dope fruit. So unless you want to argue Luffy, who is a human, he's not an animal, not like Chopper, who ate dope fruit, isn't a human. He isn't a creature by your logic. This point wouldn't go through. So I just do think I have to hire assertion here by definition, definitely speaking, how the series is portraying it.
Yeah. So wait. So I've already given you right why index to the entire Nami situation, right? It would be the
You
case.
dropped that. Unless you're going to backtrack on that.
No, I haven't dropped it. We went down the rabbit hole. I've said that the Nami situation in this card is going to point to the idea of my interpretation of creature. You said no, it is not because of X. We're currently talking about X, so I don't really know what you're talking about. I dropped it. I don't know if you're just incapable of tracking. I don't really know what you're talking
Okay,
about.
look. Maybe you didn't drop it,
But
even
just let
misheard you.
me
But
let me
look,
continue.
I
I
heard you
never
say you
dropped
didn't want to talk
anything.
about it. But we can talk
Let me
about the Nami
continue.
skin. I don't think Nami skin actually helps you. Where does Nami say that Kaido isn't a human? Because like I don't see it. Where does she say that him being a fucking thing means he's not human? Because all
Bro,
I'm hearing from
he
Nami
says,
skin,
huh? What do you
all I'm hearing,
mean? He's not even human? That's the
yes,
interpretation she gives
because
from
he's the
such
most
words.
power. Look. We can read the scan for you. There are emperors of the sea. Okay, that's referring to a position of power, right? That's why it's in bold. Okay, mind you, my fucking interpretation for how monsters and creatures are used is going to be a power related thing. Okay, so emperors of the sea is a power related thing. Massively powerful figures who engage in constant territorial clashes with a great Whitebeard. And Kaido, King of Pirates, mind you, he's the one in question, is called the most powerful creature in the world. So they are not only Empress of the Sea, a position of power in bold, him being the most powerful creature is also in bold. Obviously, it's talking about being the most powerful creature, which is going to be some position of power as well. And hearing both of those things, which again is being pushed to the reader's face because they're in bold, saying he's not human. I'm interpreting that as him literally saying he's distinct in the sense that he is more powerful than these guys, hence why he's not quote unquote human. When they're saying human, they're literally saying he is in the same realm in the sense of power, not fucking biologically speaking. Again, Kaido was a human. He was a human in the sense that he was born biologically as a human. He doesn't change biologically because he ate dope fruit. He still has a heart, still has blood, right? He's not fucking turned to a fishman. Okay, so the guy is a human. He's just more fucking powerful. And because of that, he's considered a monster, a creature in terms of strength. He's an emperor.
Yeah, I would just say via the diction of the statement, it's just going to be the idea that she's questioning the actual categorization, rather than like I guess anything having to do with the actual power implied by said previous statement, right? So when they say creature, right, she's getting an implication. She's getting an she's getting the implication, right, that this dude is simply, not going to be human. It's not stemming from, in some sort of power correlative like stance, right? Because then she would just be like, "Oh, she's the strongest. Oh, blah blah blah." Right? Her statement, her words are just going to directly support my interpretation. I don't like. I don't know if you're
I don't think hers directly supports interpretation. Again, I think the way I explained it, it's just showing under my interpretation how it follows. Those two words that are in bold, which are both just going to be some position of powers, bro. Like you being an emperor doesn't mean you're not human by that logic. Shanks has no dough fruit. Yeah, he by that logic he would be classified as an emperor, which would be in bold. Like, come on,
Wait, bro.
wait, bro.
Hold on,
I'm
hold
waiting.
on.
DM'd by Sakazuki.
Wait, so you said via my categorization, it would be the case that who's not a human?
Shanks would not be a human by your logic because of the in bold emperor statement, despite not being a devil fruit, not eating devil fruit, and being burned as a human. That by your logic, that would follow from the interpretation, even though that's not true, obviously. Right? So it's going to be clear that when these things are in bold, or it's just only being referencing to a position of power and not going to be some fucking distinct biological thing.
Wait. All right, I need to see like what do you like? I literally don't understand your interpretation with the Shanks thing. I don't see how you're deriving that. It just says emperors of the sea. The four emperors. That's gonna be in reference to said
Yeah, we can
title.
conclude, bro. We can conclude. Look, if you don't see it, look, I've already explained it like 3 times, bro. We can conclude.
Bro, when you say Shanks is not going to be a human under said interpretation, all right, bro, since you want to do that, all right, bro, what's going to be the issue with that?
Okay, we can conclude, bro.
All right, so if it's going to be the case, there's no issue with that interpretation, and my interpretation can still go through. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just conclude first. Truth interpretation didn't go through. I explained why we have to higher assertion based on everything we talked about. How my definitions would literally
Wait.
Okay.
And then wait. Yeah, and then I also just wanted to say, I don't grant the thing you said earlier about parsimony either. So yeah.
Yeah, like we're concluding, bro. It's just not gonna go through. But like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I've already like explained how I would have the higher assertion when it comes to like talking about this stuff. It's just gonna be the case that under each definition, my interpretation still would follow if we just simply just make the argument that when they say creatures, it's just gonna be referring to stuff categorically which fits. So humans can be different from wolves or fucking lions, but they still be creatures in a sense. Because of that, and how explain definitions work, which is definitions how they work is just they apply. If they apply, it fits for definition. Okay. Well, we know by definition, Kaido and them do apply. Therefore, they are creatures. Okay. So they would be considered creatures by your logic. On top of that, when we went on to further attack I went on further attack his scans throughout the thing. Um, I don't think he ever addressed properly how the fishman, either by his interpretation, has some inferiority complex at one point in time and then superiority complex at another, yet they're still classifying humans as being in the same category as them, which wouldn't make sense if they're have this crazy complex. They would just be like, no, they're insects when they get the position of power. But instead, they're saying they're creatures in both time periods, right? So it just seems to be the case that they're part of the same